Good afternoon. I'm Chief Steve Green of the Atlantic Police Department. With me is the Cass County Attorney Dan Feisner. We've got a short prepared statement, and after which we'll entertain questions. We would like you to keep in mind that the investigation is ongoing, so our answers are probably going to be somewhat limited. Okay, Mr. Feisner.
Well, thank you for everybody for coming in this short notice. Obviously, we've been working on this matter all day long, and we apologize for any inconvenience. It's been obviously a full day for all of us involved in this matter. As some of you may be aware, especially those in the community, there was an individual who had come to the community of Cass County in the city of Atlantic who'd moved here some time ago and brought forth this matter regarding a child and the possibility that this child may be in need of some medical support, care, as well as financial support. As a result of that, the community of Cass County, City of Atlantic, and many of the citizens around here commenced a, could say, a full-blown support of this individual. I want to just kind of read a little bit of the synopsis as to where we are today. Certainly, you can ask some questions. We'll try to give you the information we have. There was a press release released this morning, and so you should have that from the Atlantic News Police Department, the news release, so I don't want to go over that. Just as an update to that, as everyone here is aware, the Atlantic Police Department, Cass County Sheriff's Office, Department of Human Services, and Cass County Attorney's Office have spent nearly the last 24 hours investigating a matter of child abuse and other possible criminal matters. In the early hours of this morning, the Atlantic Police Department did place under arrest Slauson, age 30. The initial charge at this point was one single count of felony child endangerment. In the hours since that time, an additional charge has been placed against her for distribution of drugs to a child under the age of 18. That's a Class B felony in the state of Iowa. So at this time, that individual is in the custody of the Cass County Sheriff's Office facing those two charges. In the past year, Slauson, and it's L-E-A-T-H-A, Slauson, S-L-A-U-S-O-N, has reported to the community, both in person and via the internet, that her 5-year-old daughter was terminally ill with cancer. And again, as previously stated, this was the issue that was brought forth to the community. As a result of that, and in response to this, the citizens of the county, the citizens of Atlantic, many of the individuals around who obviously do not like to hear this type of news, reached out in a way to try to provide support, and a lot of it was volunteer, nearly all of it volunteer, and much of it financial. So in response to that, citizens of Cass County, as many as others miles away, have conducted fundraisers, taken donations, and provided thousands of dollars, at least to our knowledge at this point, to the child and to the family. The cause, again, was met with truly heartfelt response and prayer, and many finances were given up with a lot of time donated. At this point, the investigation continues. It's ongoing in nature. We cannot give you specifics as to what, if any, additional charges there may be. Again, the two charges that I've recited have been levied against Ms. Slauson at this time. She is incarcerated in the Cass County Jail. It's believed, again, just based on preliminary investigations, that Ms. Slauson, Letha Slauson, again, age 30, is the only individual to have believed to have perpetuated this, at least of the two parents involved. The father currently has the children in his care, custody, and control. The Iowa Department of Human Services has been notified and has been involved. The father's been cooperating. And again, I just want to stress that at this time that the mother apparently is the only one believed to have been involved in this. Pending investigation continues. We obviously will continue to look at other issues that arise. This brings up many things that may be the involvement of the juvenile courts, criminal district court, and anything else that may arise as a result of this investigation. Any questions?
What was the drug distribution?
I'm sorry?
According to the court affidavit, what was the drug that was distributed?
Correct. The allegation there was, again, and I just want to stress, we put this in the news release, that Ms. Slauson is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. But at least the two charges against her. The first charge was child endangerment. She was arrested on that last night. That was Class D felony. That would be placing the child in danger for placing this child, this 5-year-old child, at risk. Again, for the exposure to these drugs. The drug in question that she was charged with subsequent to that would have been distribution of cannabis oil to this minor child. That's a Class B felony.
Are any of the Slauson children ill?
I'm sorry?
Are any of the Slauson children ill with any cancers or any sickness?
The Department of Human Services has been working with law enforcement and everybody involved at this time. We don't have anything definitive at this time to state, other than we can state that we are confident, at least from the information we've received, that the child in question, who this fundraiser was about, was not suffering from a life-threatening terminal maladies or cancer, as was purported by her mother.
And how did you determine that?
That's been through medical cooperation from individuals involved, Department of Human Services, as well as investigation and interviews of the mother.
When did the investigation begin, and how did it come about?
Information was brought forth to law enforcement within the past 24 to 36 hours. As a result of that information, the Cass County Sheriff's Office, coupled with the Atlantic Police Department, took that information and began to conduct an investigation which centered around the mother in this case and developed fairly quickly. So the information received was fairly recent, within the last 24 to 36 hours. The investigation as well commenced almost immediately upon receipt of that.
Do we know how much money was raised? I mean, it was a significant amount if they sent families to the world.
Correct. It's difficult to determine at this time. Obviously, one of the issues would be to make a determination, if it's even possible, to determine how much money has been raised and provided to this mother. We want to stress, and the chief and I and the sheriff and many of those who have been brought into this want to stress, and I think it brings out another point, and that is that it's difficult upon the community. There have been people really who've been involved in this from the inception. They have just placed their life and limb out there. They've put in hours, they've put in their heart, their soul, their body, their spirit, their mind. They have just put forth everything for this child. We don't want this to be a discouragement or a discouraging factor to anybody out there who continues to believe in these types of matters. I think it's a reflection of Cass County. It's a reflection of Atlantic. Our fire department, our police department, they have just absolutely wrapped their arms around this child. We don't want it to be a negative thing. Obviously, we're going to have to deal with the criminal matter and any result in its effects upon the children, whether they be in some other placement or whatever. But that being the issue, we do want to stress that we believe in what happened here, in that the community rallied around an individual, that it's a reflection upon this community, it's a reflection upon the people who live here, and really just want it to be that in the future, if these things come about where somebody is in need for some type of life-threatening illness or whatever this situation may be, that we hope that they continue to support these. Obviously, it's turned out in this case that it was not a life-threatening illness, and it's unfortunate, but we don't want to be discouraged here nor discourage others from future support, and if in fact it's true.
Dan, is Ms. Slauson, is she in the Cass County Jail currently, or is she at the MHI over at CCMH?
She's currently incarcerated in Cass County Jail, correct?
The cannabis oil, what was that supposed to do to Riley?
Well, we can't get into a lot of the effects of it. Obviously, the medications that she was purporting to provide, this cannabis oils are able to be obtained through prescriptions in the state of Iowa. Recently, there was a law passed on that. We don't believe this time she obtained it through lawful means. Again, without confirming that appears to be the case. We are not here in a position today to make a determination what, if any, effects the cannabis or anything else that was provided to this child would have had. Obviously, as a follow-up, we do have the child and will have the child examined by physicians who are competent and able to make those determinations as to any short-term effects that may have had upon the child, as well as long-term ramifications.
Looks like she shaved her head, put a feeding tube in.
That is correct.
So did the tube have any function at all then, or do you think it was just for show?
Well, we can't comment on a lot of these things. We have presented you with the facts as we know them today. We have seized the equipment. obviously we'll have to make determinations as to what it was, or she thought it may have been used for, whatever. As previously stated, we have confirmed, at least through our sources as well as through the mother, that the child was not suffering from a life-threatening illness.
How were
And
you
throughout
able
this
to
whole
rule the
time,
father out?
At this time, the investigation developed fairly quickly. We started with the mother, and as a result of that, based on the information that we have today, and again, I can never state that an individual may not be charged with something down the road. Things develop at any point in an investigation. I can only state that as of today, our initial determination is that it was only the mother, or at least she was the only one here involved with what was happening with this child.
Do you know how long this was going on with the alleged cannabis oil?
We don't know for sure how long this medication, along with any others, may have been distributed or provided to this child. There are some other medications as well that we're looking into that may have been provided to this child to, for whatever reason, whether it made her appear to be sick or whether it had some medical effects, some effects on this child. We are not in that position to make that determination. We're simply stating that this is the information we've received at this point.
Do you believe Riley was the only one to receive the cannabis oil?
At this point, the investigation seems to indicate that that's the case. There are a total of 5 children, both under the mother and father's care. The 4 others, as well as Riley, have been placed with the father. Again, at this time, the Department of Human Services of the state of Iowa has not seen any reason. Again, I'm not stating something wouldn't develop, but at least at this point in time, not to have the children remain in the father's care, and that's where they are now. To answer that more directly, it's certainly something we've looked at, whether any other type of, if you will, distribution to any children had taken place. There does not appear to be any of that going on, but it certainly we'll continue to look at through medical personnel and others that examine the children.
was she soliciting money nationwide through Facebook? Would there be another federal charge possible?
I can't speak to any federal charges. We're just looking at state charges at this time.
Do you get any
There
idea?
was distribution through Facebook, and there was an online account that people could contribute to. There was also a local account, bank account that people could contribute to as well.
When did that all start? The bucket list and all that stuff?
Can you step up to the mic too?
I believe it was October.
Can you go up to the mic?
You wanna jump in there?
Chief Green?
I believe it was October of 13 that the cancer situation really became public, and as I recall, I'm going by memory here, that was the first posting where Mom made the allegation. And throughout the year, she brought forth the story that the child was declining in health, and at one point this spring, to the point where she had been declared terminal. Throughout the whole period, as the county attorney said, the community, I'm proud to be part of this community. This isn't the first time this community stepped up for people. We do it for everybody. And I don't think the hearts of the people of this community are gonna be hardened by it. I think everybody's hurt right now, but everybody's gonna heal.
Did you donate?
I did. Matter of fact, my wife had cancer last year, and so we're pretty invested in the situation.
Before now, of course, being in this sort of investigation, has Riley been to or been seen by a doctor that you're aware of?
All the medical appointments were reportedly to Omaha, Des Moines, Columbus, Missouri, things of that nature. That's part of what brought this to light, is when the school system started looking to create a plan for this child, the medical contacts just weren't panning out, and that's when they brought it to the attention of law enforcement.
So that's where the break came in the school district.
Pretty much, yeah.
Any light shed on why she did it? Was a money thing?
One may never know. At this point, our job is to make sure that the children are safe. Obviously, as Chief and I have discussed, one would have